2 months ago, we set out to build an AI tool that basically takes natural language and looks at your particular account, pulls your data out, and gives you insight into your Amazon selling account. For example, like how can I improve my ACOS or what are my worst performing campaigns? And now I'm happy to announce that we have a live beta app that you can try. Hello, my name is Nandin, and I'm been an Amazon seller since 2012, and I've sold over $80 million on Amazon. So I'm with Seller Labs here, and we have also James Tuxbury, who's been working hard on this app for the past 2 months. So if you like this content, subscribe to our channel for news and updates for Amazon sellers. James, say hello.
Hello.
All right. So the story actually started about 2 years ago when we were trying to push ChatGPT to the limit, right? And to see what it can do to get insights for the customers from their data. But at the time, the best thing we could do was ChatGPT 3.5 because the best thing that we could do was just write the MySQL query for you and then it runs the query, which was our AI query builder. Let me share that screen there. This was the AI query builder. Basically, it takes the Amazon tables, gives it the context of what each table column means, and then it writes the MySQL query. We couldn't even, it was doing a mediocre job. We couldn't even afford to use the ChatGPT 4.0 at the time because it was like 50 cents per query. It would have been too costly to use that. However, things have changed in the past 2 years. As you may have read, AI's capabilities are doubling every 7 months. That's insane. Uh, we thought that maybe that large language model AI like ChatGPT are getting smart enough now, or they're close to getting smart to start giving valuable insights if you pass it enough context. The landscape has changed so much that even though I read the news every day, I have a hard time keeping up with all the capabilities that AI is doing. For example, like Claude is making significant advances in programming language where people have whole businesses built for what they call vibe coding. Basically, you can tell the in natural language for the AI to make a website, and it'll program and write it a website for you and make changes to it. So that's pretty amazing. So we wanted to go over some of the struggles that we encounter as we try to build this in the past few months. First, right, when we set it out, did we think that this is even possible at all, James?
Yeah, when we first set out, we weren't. That was the very first question we set out to answer was, is this thing even possible? Is this something we can even do? So when we first started building, we went into the AI query builder, and our first goal as far as that was, can we get a large language model connected directly to a MySQL database? And that's a question we set out to answer. And with the AI Query Builder, we were able to get there. Like Nan mentioned earlier, it had some mediocre results. It wasn't super great at writing queries. It could write some simple ones, but as soon as you started getting a few joins in the mix, and it just started getting a little too complicated, and it wasn't particularly great at it. But we proved that we could at least connect to a MySQL database and get some data to the large language model.
Yep. And
So
then
I'm sorry,
then
go
we
ahead.
ran into the problem of getting the AI to connect to the MySQL database without exposing all the username and passwords for connecting the database, right? So how do
Yeah.
we solve that?
So we went ahead and built out a temporary key for the users that they can use to connect to the database, which even if that particular key is exposed, it's a short-lived key, and it not a long-term issue because they expire within an hour. And the extra layer is that the database that the LLM has access to is all built on views, and it doesn't have any write access or the ability to change data. It can only query data. It doesn't have access to the underlying database itself. Uh, then
Yep.
the
As you can see
next
that it's
issue,
actually you can see that actually the tokens that we're passing to the LLM so that it can access the database there in the chat.
yeah, yeah, and they're all, as I mentioned before, temporary tokens,
Yep.
uh,
So
so
they
that we don't
expire, you hit the
expose.
refresh token button so that it can get you a new token. It's supposed to expire in an hour or so.
Yes. Uh, and then once we had that set up, the next challenge that we wanted to tackle was the challenge that we previously talked about with the AI query builder, which was getting the LLM to actually understand our schema and be able to write more advanced queries and successfully, pull more meaningful data. And the wrinkle that allowed us to solve that issue was we use vectors. We built internally here on top of Retool's platform, but their introduction of vectors allowed us to upload our DB schema as a vector, and the LLM has access to that. So now, when the LLM attempts to write a query, it can try to write it, but if it runs into any issues, it will reference those vectors. It will pull in the database data, and it is considerably, like many, many times more accurate at writing functioning SQL queries or MySQL queries specifically,
Yep.
once it had access to those vectors.
Yeah, so think
Um,
of the vectors like a context layer, like instructions for the AI on where to pull the data to pull, and what the context meanings are. So we call that the context layer, right? We have the SQL database layer and then the context layer. So we had to solve that problem um, uh, to even just connect to the database, grab the right data, right? And then what's the problem next that came up?
Yeah, once we actually got this thing understanding the schema a little bit and writing functional queries, it started running into some issues, some Amazon specific issues, with not necessarily understanding how Amazon works, comparing things that Amazon sellers might be very comfortable talking about, like SKUs and ASINs and fun SKUs. The LLM at first didn't wasn't too great at keeping those things apart and understanding the Amazon specific context, which is we ended up solving that issue through similarly with the vectors as well, providing Amazon reference information so that it can understand the difference between what these things mean within an Amazon context.
Yep. And then once you started making sense, how do you go about like getting? Because initially the answers were like gibberish, right? They didn't understand at all. So how did you go through train the LLM to get better questions over time?
So yeah, it's basically a training process that we do with the LLM. We look at the questions that we see. We ask questions to the LLM and we look at the answers. And then we kind of identify questions, or rather answers that maybe are lacking or just wrong or that maybe don't make 100% sense. And then that's what it tells us, okay, we need to give the LLM a little bit more context in this area. Okay, this means this, that means that, kind of separate what different things mean, and basically find the holes that are missing and plug those holes and make sure that it has the context to understand uh, whatever whatever was going on that was causing it to get an unsatisfactory answer to those questions.
So it's a recursive process, right? Basically, we look at the question and answer, see what it doesn't know, and then train it on what it needs to know so it can give the correct answer. And so it's an iterative process, and hopefully the LM gets smarter over time based on that, right?
Yeah.
What are the well, that's also part of why we need you as a beta tester. Like, we would love you if you click in and join, and test out the Agent Genius. We call it Agent Genius here, and to test it out and see what throw questions at it, see what if it's giving you insights into your particular database that makes any sense at all, or it's just gibberish. And then we'll look at that and see if it can improve. We can prove it over time. What are things to watch out as as people are using this ChatGPT LLM to get insights from their database?
So just like when you're using an LLM for any other purpose, the LLM will at times hallucinate, and so basically we you should definitely double check before you make any business decisions based on recommendations given from the LLM. So there are, all LLMs are prone to that. So that's obviously still present here, but yeah, double check all its recommendations before making business decisions on those recommendations.
Yep. All right, James, can you share your screen and give us a demo of Agent Genius?
And here we are. So here I just wanted to highlight basically what the interface looks like and just kind of show a quick conversation here. Um, as we've talked about before, the point of this is to be able to ask natural language questions. So you can see here the question, what are some of my underperforming campaigns? And a really cool feature of the Agent Genius is that you can come in here and you can see step by step what the agent's thinking, what it's doing, what tools it's using. So you can see here it wanted to find the underperforming campaigns, and it decided that what it needed to do that was check the documentation. So I went ahead and did that. It wrote a query, which actually the first attempt failed, but without being prompted by me or in the conversation at all, it once that query failed, it retried it, and you can see here that it got the output, and it said here's some of my underperforming campaigns, and you can see here that it decided to highlight some campaigns that I had that are getting some impressions, but had no attributed sales, which it suggested that we look at here. So here I just wanted to highlight the natural language question. Obviously the AI will interpret some things. I didn't specify too much, so uh, that it defined, for example, what underperforming campaigns mean. But the idea is you can have a natural language conversation and go back and forth. Another conversation that I wanted to highlight here relates to what we were just talking about with the Amazon specific knowledge. Is I asked the AI, hey, what are the identifiers for listings on Amazon? And it checked our vector here, and it kind of came back with a little definition of this is what a listing skew is, this is what a nascent is, this is what a fund skew is. And then I asked it to kind of elaborate, hey, what are the actual key differences here? And you can see here it went into great detail of what a skew is, what the purpose of it is, the scope of them compared to each other, and what context these things are used in,
That's
which is
pretty
really
awesome.
nice, detailed answer of uh, of what all these different things are. And this is the type of stuff that you would train a new employee on, for example.
Yep. So if you
Um,
hire somebody from the Philippines who have no idea anything about Amazon, like some of this Amazon specific knowledge, it can answer it for you instead of you having to explain everything. So it's pretty nice, right?
Yeah, yeah, pretty great.
So,
And
go ahead.
oh, I just wanted to say, but this is our goal basically here is to have more conversations, get real users to find to ask real world questions, and basically find where what questions it's not necessarily performing too great in, maybe find some of the good ones and see which ones it's answering satisfactorily, and then be able to kind of guide this thing and give it context and knowledge to help answer those questions that maybe it's not quite 100% there on.
Yep. Thank you, James. Thank you for all the hard work for getting this out. So if somebody's a Seller Labs customer, where do they go to try this Agent Genius that's in beta mode?
Yeah, this currently, as long as you are a Solo Labs customer, you can find the Genius here under our beta app section and Agent Genius, and that will take you right here to go ahead and start chatting with the Agent Genius and seeing what it can provide.
And if somebody's not a Seller Labs customer, how do they sign up to try
Uh,
it out?
they can go ahead and sign up and for any of our
Go to our website, right?
yeah,
Sololab.com.
to settlabs.com and
Can you pull up the
a-
website there so people can
any
see?
sure settlabs.com and our we have our Profit Genius bundle here. But yeah, any of our subscriptions will give you the ability to talk to the uh,
Yeah.
agent genius.
Any of the apps like for example, Profit Genius. Once you sign up, you get a free trial, and then you can get access to the beta section, which will allow you to try out the Agent Genius. Well, thank you everybody for joining us in this product launch, beta product launch for Agent Genius. I'm excited to see what you ask of the AI, and then what we can do to improve it over time. This is an exciting time to leverage our insight onto the AI capabilities that is doubling every 7 months. So 7 months from now, it will be double smarter, and then it grows exponentially to like a year or two, or like it'll be three, four, 10 times smarter than what it is. So can't wait to see what we can do next. I will see you next time. Thank you, everybody.